everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Maddie. I'm a K-5 STEM teacher and ed tech coach in Los Angeles. I post weekly tech tutorials for teachers, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing how to create back to school welcome and meet the teacher letters to share with families. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a template. I'm going to be walking you through a template that I've created. If you like this template, be sure to click the link in the video description down below so you guys can grab your own copy. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So right now we're looking at a Google Slides document here that I've put together. Now you'll notice that I've already done a little bit of prep work. So like I said at the beginning of this video, if you decide you like this template, you can grab the link in the video description down below, and the file you receive will look a little bit like this. There's going to be directions and things like that included, but for the most part, it's going to look like this. So right now we're looking at, like I said, this Google Slides file here, and you'll notice that the layout is a little bit different than what you might normally see when you open up a new Google Slides file. That's because I actually changed the orientation of the slide here to be 8.5 by 11 to match the size of a regular piece of paper. So the way that I did that is I just went up here to the File button and I changed page setup, and then I customized this page setup here to be 8.5 by 11 inches. Then I clicked apply, and the page is set up now to match the size of a regular sheet of paper. I've also done some other prep work here. Like I said, you'll notice I already went ahead and added these text boxes to say meet the teacher. So the way this is going to work is I'm just going to walk you through all of the key elements that I think are really important for you to include in your meet the teacher and your welcome letter that you share with families. So here, the very first thing I'm going to want to do is under meet the teacher, I'm going to want to type my name. So I can just go ahead and double click on this text box to edit the text, and I'm going to type in something like Maddie from Ed Tech Classroom. Of course, you can use your first and last name or however you'd like for families to get to know you. The font that I'm using here is called Cookie. I think it's a really fun and playful font. Then next, you're going to want to welcome families to your grade level. So right here it says welcome to blank grade. Let's say I'm teaching second grade, so I want to just adjust this text box here to say welcome to second grade. In my welcome note, my very brief note, I like to include a couple of different elements. First, I like to just introduce myself. I like to share some general information about how long I've been teaching in this grade level or this subject area. I also like to include some information about what I'm excited about for next school year and why I love teaching. Of course, this is just a recommendation. You, of course, can do whatever you think makes the most sense for you and for your incoming class of families. So here I might write something like, welcome to my class. I am so excited to teach your students this school year. I have been a second grade teacher for 3 years now, and it is my favorite grade level to teach. I really love teaching math and writing. One of my favorite parts about being a teacher is building relationships with my students. So you'll see this is just a very short and sweet note here. I've introduced myself by talking about how long I've been in education, how long I've been a second grade teacher, what I love teaching, and also what my favorite parts about being a teacher is. Next, we'll want to share some about me information. For this section, it's just going to be some brief information about your background. So you could share information about where you're from, you could write, where you went to college or university, you could write about how long you've been teaching. And also, it's important to note that if you have a lot you want to share here, you can change the font size. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So in my next section, I'm going to write something like, I grew up very close to our school, just a couple miles away in Town City. I went to college at State University nearby. I love going to college football games on the weekends. Go Wolves. And then I could also add some information like I have been a teacher for 5 years and it is my dream job, or something like that. Now let's say you want to add a little bit more text. Maybe I can say, thanks for learning about me, or something like that. You'll notice that now my text has gone a little bit over here. So the way that you're going to adjust the font size is you can highlight the entire paragraph and you can go up here to the font size area and you can decrease the font size until it fits in. So 14 looks a little small, but 15 looks too big. So if you want to put a font size kind of in between two numbers, you can actually put in decimals. So I'll do 14.5 and that looks perfect. It fits in here really nicely. The next thing I like to share with families is I like to share some of my favorites. This is just kind of a fun get to know you activity. This is also something that I'm sure lots of you do with your students during the first week of school. So under my favorites, I might want to say my favorite food. So let's say my favorite food is tacos. Maybe my favorite book is Harry Potter. Maybe my favorite hobby is I love reading. My favorite subject might be math. My favorite type of candy could be Snickers. My favorite drink is coffee. My favorite color is blue. And my favorite animal is dolphins. So now I've added some of my favorites. This is just kind of fun. If you think of other favorites, you're more than welcome to include those. These are just some of the ones that immediately came to mind for me when I was putting together this Meet the Teacher template. Next, under Contact Me, some information that I like to include with my Meet the Teacher letter is I like to include my email address and my class website or my Google Classroom code, depending on what type of learning management system you might be using at your school. So that's going to be like Canvas, Schoology, Google Classroom, etc. And then I also like to include my school phone number. So for my email address, I can go ahead and just include my edtechclassroom@gmail.com. Now again, you'll see this actually went over and onto a second line. So there's two ways I can adjust this. I can change the font size just like how I showed you guys for the previous section, or I can make this text box a little bit bigger to get it to fit on one line. Now for my class website or Google Classroom code, let's say my code is 00000. I can go ahead and add that here. I might want to indicate that this is Google Classroom code. Then I can also add my phone number. So let's say my phone number is 555-555-555. Now the very last thing on here is you'll notice that there's this pink circle. I like to include a picture of myself to share with families. I think it just adds a nice little personal touch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a photo in here to show you guys, and then I'm going to show you how you can actually crop that photo into the shape of a circle. So right now I'm just gonna go grab a picture. All right, so you'll see that I've added a photo here, but it's not in the shape of a circle. So I love to crop pictures into the shape of a circle, especially for my Meet the Teacher letter. I think it just makes it look a little bit more professional, and I like how it looks stylistically. Of course, if you don't want to crop yours, you definitely don't have to. The way I do that is I go up here to the crop tool, and I click on the drop down arrow. Then I hover my mouse over where it says shapes, and then I select the circle, and you'll see that it crops it into the shape of a circle. So I can just resize the circle here and put it inside of this little pink circle. And so you'll see it looks really nice. It has this nice pink outline, and I just think it looks really nice and professional, but also approachable and friendly for families. Next, we're gonna take a look at the actual letter portion. So this was just the Meet the Teacher section. I also like to include a welcome letter where I talk a little bit more about my curriculum. So if we take a look at slide number 2 or page number 2, you'll see at the very top in nice fun colors, it says welcome. Now here on the page, it says, Dear families, write a brief introductory paragraph here. You can introduce yourself. How long have you been teaching in this grade level or subject area? Why are you excited about the next school year? And why do you love teaching? So just like how we did in the previous page, you might want to add just some very brief information about your teaching experience. And then in the next paragraph, what I like to include is I often like to write about what this school year is going to look like. So I might share some ideas about my classroom community. I might share some examples about how I'm going to be supporting my students' learning this year. I can even write about social emotional support as well. Then for the third paragraph, I can also write some expectations about communication. In my opinion, this is really important to set up at the very start of the school year. I think it sets a nice mode of communication and it sets the expectations for your relationship with your families and your class. So you might include some information about how they can contact you, how often you will contact them, and you can even add a quick note about parent volunteers. Let's say you're looking for a room parent or something like that. You could include that in this paragraph as well. And you can also talk about the ways that you will connect with your child one-on-one. Then lastly, in this final paragraph, I like to thank families for their support. I like to tell them that I'm really excited to have their child in my class, and I like to just share some general positive remarks about the grade level, about my school, etc. In this paragraph, I always recommend that teachers they keep it personal, but they also keep it really applicable to families. Then the very last step is to add your name. So to sign your name, you can just type in your name. I like this cookie font because it kind of looks like cursive. So I can just say Maddie from EdTech Classroom and kind of resize it so it all fits. And then when you're ready to go, you have two different options for how you can share this with families. You can print this. I like to print it as a handout so that it's front and back. It saves paper and it just looks like a nice one-sheeter for families to have and hold on to. And you can mail it to families. Or another way that you can share this is you can actually export this file as a PDF and you can email it to your families. So that's another option. To do that, you can go ahead and go up here in the top left-hand corner and click on the button that says File. Then you can go to Download and download the file as a PDF. When you do that, it takes it out of this Google Slides format and actually puts it into a PDF format that's gonna look really nice for families to receive. It looks professional, it's easy to use, and it just really sort of elevates your letter and takes it to the next level. So if we click on the PDF, I'll just give you some insight into what it looks like. So you'll see it looks really great. You can either print it out or you can attach it to an email to share it with families. Again, as a reminder, if you do like this template, I will have it linked in the video description down below for you guys to check out. Thank you so much for watching today's video about how to create back to school welcome and meet the teacher letters to share with families. If you liked this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I post weekly tech tutorials for teachers, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye, friends.